Stop overthinking. The 2-minute method to control your mind and change your life. Your thoughts are not helping you. Right now, you have between 12 and 60,000 thoughts per day. Most of them are useless. Most of them make your life harder, not easier. You worry about things that never happen. You replay conversations that are over. You plan for futures that will never arrive. You think you are solving problems, but you are creating them. This audiobook is about one thing: learning to use your mind as a tool instead of letting it use you. If you want to stop wasting mental energy on thoughts that do not serve you, keep listening. If you want a system for deciding which thoughts to follow and which to ignore, this is for you. If you are tired of feeling stuck in your head while life moves forward without you, you are in the right place. This is not for people who want to analyze their childhood. This is not therapy. This is not about positive thinking or manifesting or any of that. This is about taking back control of the one thing you actually can control: your attention. Here is what you will get: a framework called the filter system. It has 4 parts. You will learn when a thought is useful and when it is just noise. You will get tools you can use today. You will get a 7-day plan that takes less than 10 minutes per day. And later, I will give you the 2-minute version you can use right now if you are in a crisis. No need to pause or take notes. There's a toolkit in the description with all the tools and a 7-day checklist. You can use it later. Let's start with why most of us are terrible at thinking. The problem and the real cause. You wake up. Before you open your eyes, your mind is already running. Did I send that email? Why did I say that thing yesterday? What if this project fails? What does my boss think of me? Why am I so tired? Why is everyone else doing better than me? You are not even out of bed yet. This happens because no one taught us how to think. We assume thinking just happens. We assume our thoughts are useful because they show up in our heads. We treat every thought like it deserves attention. That is the problem. You are giving equal weight to useful thoughts and useless thoughts. You cannot tell the difference. So you spend mental energy on things that do not matter, and by the time something important shows up, you are exhausted. You are not broken. The system is broken. We live in a world that rewards action, but we were never taught how to filter thoughts before they become actions. We were taught math and history and how to write essays. No one taught us how to decide which thoughts to follow. Here is an example. A friend of mine spent 6 months thinking about quitting his job. He hated his work. He was miserable. He talked about quitting constantly. He made pros and cons lists. He asked everyone he knew for advice. He lost sleep. He got anxious. Then one day, his boss fired him. And within 2 weeks, he had a better job that paid more. All that thinking? Useless. It did not help him quit. It did not prepare him for what happened next. It just made him miserable for 6 months. That is what happens when you do not have a system. Thinking becomes suffering. The framework. The framework is called the filter system. It has 4 filters. Every thought you have goes through these filters. If it passes, you act on it. If it does not pass, you let it go. Here are the 4 filters. Filter 1. Control. Can you actually do something about this thought, or is it outside your control? Filter 2. Purpose. Does this thought help you solve a problem or understand something useful, or is it just noise? Filter 3. Truth. Is this thought based on facts, or is it based on assumptions, fears, or beliefs? Filter 4. Action. Does this thought lead to a clear next step, or does it just create more thinking? If a thought passes all 4 filters, it is useful. Follow it. If it fails even one filter, let it go. This is not about stopping thoughts. You cannot stop thoughts. They show up whether you want them or not. This is about deciding which thoughts get your attention and which thoughts you ignore. If you're driving or working out, just listen. The downloadable toolkit has the full steps. Let's break down each filter. Tool 1. The control filter. Most of your thoughts are about things you cannot control. The weather. What people think of you. The past. The economy. Other people's decisions. Your genetics. Traffic. When you think about things outside your control, you waste energy. That energy could go toward things you can control. Your actions. Your words. Your choices. Your effort. Your attention. The control filter is simple. When a thought shows up, ask yourself, can I do something about this right now? If the answer is no, the thought fails the filter. Let it go. If the answer is yes, move to the next filter. Here is when to use it. Anytime you notice yourself worrying, stressing, or replaying something in your head. Anytime you feel stuck or powerless. Anytime you are about to complain. Example. You are stuck in traffic. You have a meeting in 20 minutes. You start thinking, I am going to be late. My boss will be mad. This always happens to me. Why is traffic always bad when I have somewhere important to be? None of those thoughts pass the control filter. You cannot control traffic. You cannot control whether your boss gets mad. You cannot change the fact that you are late. Here is what does pass the filter. I can text my boss and let them know I will be late. I can use this time to review my notes for the meeting. I can leave earlier next time. Those thoughts lead to action. The other thoughts just make you miserable. 7-day mini experiment. For the next 7 days, catch yourself thinking about something outside your control. Write it down. Then ask, what part of this can I control? Write that down too. Do this once per day. By day 7, you will start filtering automatically. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode. You think everything is outside your control, so you do nothing. Fix. Start small. Focus on the tiniest action you can take. Even sending one text or making one decision counts. Control is built through small actions, not big ones. If this is useful, subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell. It helps more people find these audiobooks. Tool 2, the purpose filter. This filter asks, why am I thinking this? Most thoughts do not have a purpose. You think them because they showed up. You think them out of habit. You think them because you are bored or anxious or trying to avoid something harder. The purpose filter separates useful thinking from mental noise. Useful thinking has one of two purposes: solving a problem or understanding knowledge. Problem-solving thoughts help you figure out how to fix something, build something, or change something. Understanding thoughts help you learn a skill, apply an idea, or make sense of information. Everything else is noise. Here is when to use it. When you catch yourself in a thought loop. When you have been thinking about the same thing for more than 5 minutes without taking action. When you are thinking about the past or the future without a clear reason. Example. You are lying in bed. You start thinking about a conversation you had 3 days ago. You replay what you said. You imagine what you should have said. You wonder what the other person thinks of you now. Ask yourself, what is the purpose of this thought? If the purpose is to learn something so you can communicate better next time, keep thinking. Write down what you learned. Make a note. Then stop. If there is no purpose, and you are just replaying the conversation because it feels bad, the thought fails the filter. Let it go. 7-day mini experiment. Set a timer on your phone for 3 random times each day. When the timer goes off, pause and ask, what am I thinking right now? Does this thought have a purpose? Write down yes or no. By day 7, you will see patterns. You will know which thoughts are useful and which are just habits. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode. You convince yourself every thought has a purpose because it feels important. Fix. Use this rule. If the thought does not lead to a clear action or a clear lesson within 5 minutes, it has no purpose. Move on. Tool 3, the truth filter. This filter asks, is this thought based on facts or assumptions? Most thoughts are assumptions. You assume people think a certain way. You assume things will go wrong. You assume you know what will happen. You assume you are not good enough, smart enough, or ready enough. Assumptions feel like facts. They are not. The truth filter forces you to separate what you know from what you are making up. Here is when to use it. When you are making a decision. When you feel anxious or afraid. When you are avoiding something. When you are comparing yourself to someone else. Example. You want to start a side project. You think, I do not have enough time. I am not good enough yet. No one will care about this. Other people are already doing it better. Those are assumptions. Here are the facts. You have not tracked your time to see where it actually goes. You have not tested your skills to know if they are good enough. You have not shared your project to see if anyone cares. You have not compared your version to others in detail. The assumptions stop you. The facts give you options. 7-day mini experiment. Pick one decision you have been avoiding. Write down every reason you are avoiding it. Circle the assumptions. Underline the facts. For each assumption, write down one action you could take to test whether it is true. Do one test this week. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode, you treat your feelings as facts. You feel scared, so you assume the thing is dangerous. You feel unprepared, so you assume you are not ready. Fix, feelings are data, not truth. When a feeling shows up, ask, what is the fact underneath this feeling? Then test the fact. Tool 4, the action filter. This filter asks, does this thought lead to a clear next step? If a thought does not lead to action, it is just more thinking. The action filter is the final test. You can have a thought that passes the control filter, the purpose filter, and the truth filter. But if it just creates more questions, more analysis, or more thinking, it still fails. Useful thoughts create decisions. Decisions create action. Action creates results. Here is when to use it. After you have thought about something for more than 10 minutes. When you feel stuck between options. When you keep researching without starting. When you are waiting for the perfect plan. Example. You want to improve your health. You think, I should work out more. You start researching workout plans. You read about nutrition. You watch videos. You compare gyms. You think about which days you will work out. You think about whether you should do cardio or weights first. None of that passes the action filter. It is all preparation. It is all thinking. Here is what passes. I will do 10 push-ups right now. I will walk for 15 minutes today. I will eat one vegetable with lunch. Those are actions. Small, clear, doable. 7-day mini experiment. Every night before bed, write down one action you will take tomorrow. Not a goal. Not a plan. An action. Something you can complete in less than 30 minutes. Do it. Check it off. Repeat for 7 days. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode. You think planning is the same as action. You make lists, set goals, and feel productive, but nothing changes. Fix. Use this rule. If you cannot complete it in one sitting, it is not an action. Break it down further. Tool 5, the time budget. You have limited energy. You have limited attention. You have limited hours in a day. Every thought you follow costs you time. Most people do not think about thoughts this way. They treat thinking as free. It is not. Thinking costs you the time you could spend doing something else. The time budget tool forces you to treat your mental energy like money. You only have so much. Spend it wisely. Here is when to use it. When you feel overwhelmed. When you have too many ideas and no time to execute them. When you are saying yes to everything. When you are exhausted but cannot figure out why. Example. You want to start a business, learn a new skill, read more books, work out, spend time with family, and keep up with your job. You think about all of these things constantly. You feel like you are failing at all of them. Here is the truth. You do not have time for all of them right now. You have to choose. Use the time budget. Write down every major thing you want to focus on. Estimate how many hours per week each one requires. Add them up. Compare that number to the actual hours you have available. If the numbers do not match, cut something. You do not have to cut it forever. Just for now. 7-day mini experiment. Track your time for 3 days. Write down what you actually do every hour. Then compare it to what you think you should be doing. The gap between those two lists is where your mental energy is leaking. Pick one thing from the should list. Cut one thing from the actual list. Test it for 7 days. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode. You refuse to cut anything because it all feels important. Fix. Use the regret minimization framework. Ask yourself, if I do not do this for the next 3 months, will I regret it in 5 years? If the answer is no, Cut it. Tool 6. The decision deadline. Most people think too long about decisions that do not matter. They spend weeks deciding whether to take a trip, change jobs, or start a project. They ask everyone they know. They make lists. They research. They wait for clarity. Clarity does not come from thinking. Clarity comes from action. The decision deadline forces you to stop thinking and start testing. Here is when to use it. When you have been thinking about the same decision for more than 1 week. When you keep asking for advice but not taking it. When you feel stuck between 2 options. Example. You are thinking about taking a new job. You have been thinking about it for 3 weeks. You have talked to your friends, your partner, your mentor. You have made pros and cons lists. You still do not know what to do. Set a decision deadline. Give yourself 48 hours. In those 48 hours, write down the worst-case scenario for each option. Write down the best-case scenario. Write down what you will do if the worst case happens. Then pick one. You will not have perfect information. That is the point. No one has perfect information. You make the best decision you can with what you know, and then you adjust. 7-day mini-experiment. Pick one decision you have been avoiding. Set a deadline of 3 days. Tell someone your deadline. When the deadline hits, make the decision. Do not extend the deadline. Decide. Then move forward. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode, you set the deadline, but when it arrives, you push it back. Fix, make the decision reversible. Most decisions are not permanent. If you pick wrong, you can change course. Commit to testing the decision for 30 days, then reassess. Tool 7. The Thought Shutdown. Some thoughts are not worth filtering. They are just bad thoughts. They are mean. They are catastrophic. They are spiraling. They show up when you are tired, stressed, or overwhelmed, and they make everything worse. The thought shutdown is for those moments. It is not about analyzing the thought. It is about stopping it. Here is when to use it. When you are catastrophizing. When you are replaying a mistake over and over. When you are comparing yourself to someone else and feeling terrible. When you are lying in bed and your mind will not stop. Example. You made a mistake at work. You sent an email with the wrong attachment. Now you are lying in bed thinking, everyone thinks I am incompetent. I am going to get fired. I always mess things up. Why can't I do anything right? This is not useful thinking. This is a spiral. Here is the thought shutdown. Say out loud, stop. That is it. Just say stop. Then replace the thought with a fact. The fact is, I sent the wrong attachment. I will fix it tomorrow. That is all. Do not argue with the thought. Do not analyze it. Do not try to convince yourself it is wrong. Just stop it and replace it with one fact. 7-day mini-experiment. For the next 7 days, when a bad thought shows up, say stop out loud. Then say one fact. Do not add anything else. Do this every time. By day 7, your brain will start stopping the thoughts automatically. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode, you say stop, but then you keep thinking about the thought. You analyze why you had the thought. You try to fix the root cause. Fix, do not analyze during a spiral. Just stop. You can reflect later when you are calm. In the moment, your only job is to stop the loop. Midpoint Recap. Here is where we are. You learned the filter system. 4 filters. Control, purpose, truth, action. If a thought does not pass all 4, let it go. You learned 7 tools. The control filter. The purpose filter. The truth filter. The action filter. The time budget. The decision deadline. The thought shutdown. If you only do one thing from this audiobook, do this. Use the control filter. Every time you catch yourself worrying or stressing, ask, can I control this? If no, let it go. If yes, decide what to do next. That one filter will cut your mental noise in half. Quick recap, and remember, the toolkit is there so you can revisit this without rewinding. Now we shift. The first half was about filtering thoughts. The second half is about building new thought patterns. You cannot just stop bad thinking. You have to replace it with better thinking. That is what the next tools do. Tool 8, the trade-off log. Every choice has a cost. You cannot do everything. You cannot have everything. You cannot be everywhere. Most people pretend this is not true. They try to do it all. They burn out. Then they wonder why. The trade-off log makes trade-offs visible. When you see the cost of a choice, you make better choices. Here is when to use it. When you are overwhelmed. When you keep saying yes to things you do not want to do. When you feel resentful about how you spend your time. When you are jealous of someone else's life. Example. You agree to help a friend move. It takes 6 hours. You miss your workout. You do not finish your work. You feel tired and annoyed. You think, why do I always say yes? Here is what you missed. The trade-off. Saying yes to your friend meant saying no to your workout and your work. You did not think about that when you said yes. You only saw the friend. You did not see the cost. The trade-off log fixes this. Before you say yes to anything, write down what you are saying no to. Be specific. If you say yes to this meeting, you are saying no to focused work time. If you say yes to this trip, you are saying no to your routine for a week. If you say yes to this project, you are saying no to another project. Once you see the trade-off, the decision becomes easier. 7-day mini experiment. For the next 7 days, before you commit to anything, write down the trade-off. What are you giving up by saying yes? Keep a running list. At the end of the week, look at your list. Are you making trade-offs you are happy with? If not, adjust. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode, you see the trade-off, but you say yes anyway because you feel guilty or obligated. Fix, use this script. I would love to help, but I have a commitment I cannot move. You do not owe anyone an explanation. Your time is yours. Tool 9, the calendar test. People lie to themselves about time. They think they have more time than they do. They think they can fit more in. They think later will be less busy. Later is never less busy. The calendar test forces you to look at reality. If it is not on your calendar, it does not exist. If it is on your calendar, it has a time cost. Here is when to use it. When you are planning your week. When someone asks you to do something. When you are thinking about starting a new project or habit. Example. You want to start waking up early to write. You think, I will just wake up at 5 a.m. and write for an hour. Easy. Here is the calendar test. Open your calendar. Look at when you actually go to bed. Look at when you actually wake up. Look at how much sleep you actually get. Now calculate. If you wake up at 5 a.m., what time do you need to go to bed? Are you willing to go to bed at that time? For how many days per week? If the math does not work, the plan does not work. The calendar test is brutal. It does not care about your intentions. It only cares about hours. 7-day mini experiment. Look at your calendar for the next 7 days. Block out every commitment you already have. Work, meetings, family time, sleep, meals, commute. Look at what is left. That is your actual available time. Now look at your to-do list. Does it fit in the available time? If not, cut or reschedule. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode, you block time on your calendar, but then you let other things take over that time. Fix, treat calendar blocks like meetings with yourself. Do not move them unless it is an emergency. If someone asks for that time, say, I have a commitment then. Can we find another time? Tool 10, the energy map. Not all hours are equal. You have high energy hours and low energy hours. You have focus hours and drift hours. You have decision-making hours and autopilot hours. Most people ignore this. They try to do hard work during low energy hours. They waste high energy hours on easy tasks. Then they wonder why they feel unproductive. The energy map fixes this. You map your energy across the day. Then you match tasks to energy levels. Here is when to use it. When you feel like you are working all day but not getting anything done. When you are exhausted by noon. When you keep putting off the most important tasks. Example. You are a morning person. Your best hours are 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. But you spend those hours on email, meetings, and admin work. By the time you get to the hard work, it is 2 p.m. and you are tired. The work takes twice as long and feels twice as hard. Here is the fix. Protect your high-energy hours. Use them for the hardest, most important work. Push email and meetings to low-energy hours. 7-day mini-experiment. For the next 7 days, rate your energy every 2 hours on a scale of 1 to 10. Write it down. By the end of the week, you will see a pattern. Then look at your tasks. Put the hardest tasks in your highest energy windows. Put the easiest tasks in your lowest energy windows. Test it for 1 week. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode: you know your energy map, but you let other people control your schedule. Fix: block your high energy hours on your calendar before anyone else can claim them. Mark them as busy. Protect them like you would protect a doctor's appointment. Tool 11. The constraint choice. Most people think freedom means having no limits. It does not. Freedom means choosing your limits. When you do not choose your limits, someone else chooses them for you. Your boss. Your family. Your phone. Your inbox. Random people on the internet. The constraint choice lets you pick your limits before life picks them for you. Here is when to use it. When you feel overwhelmed by options. When you are trying to do too many things. When you keep starting projects but not finishing them. When you feel scattered. Example: you want to grow your career. You think you should network more, learn new skills, work on side projects, read industry news, take courses, attend events, and post on social media. That is too much. You will do all of it poorly, or you will do none of it. Here is the constraint choice. Pick 2. Just 2. For the next 3 months, you will focus on 2 things. You will say no to everything else. Not forever. Just for 3 months. The constraint forces focus. Focus creates results. Results create momentum. 7-day mini-experiment. Write down everything you think you should be doing. Circle the 2 that will have the biggest impact. For the next 7 days, only work on those 2. Say no to everything else. At the end of the week, check your progress. Did the constraint help or hurt? Adjust if needed, but keep the constraint. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode: you pick 2 things, but then you add a 3rd, then a 4th, then a 5th. Fix: use this rule. For every new thing you add, you must cut something else. Your constraint number stays the same. 2 in, 1 out. Tool 12. The prototype test. Most people wait until they are ready. They think they need more time, more skills, more resources, more clarity. They wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment does not exist. The prototype test flips this. Instead of waiting until you are ready, you test before you are ready. You build a small version. You collect data. You adjust. Here is when to use it. When you have been planning something for more than 2 weeks without starting. When you are afraid of failing. When you are waiting for permission. When you do not know if an idea will work. Example: you want to start a side business. You think, I need to build a website, create a logo, write a business plan, set up an LLC, and have at least 10 products ready before I launch. That will take months. Maybe years. And you still will not know if anyone wants what you are selling. Here is the prototype test. Sell 1 thing to 1 person this week. No website. No logo. No business plan. Just make 1 offer to 1 person. If they say yes, you have data. If they say no, you have data. Either way, you learn faster than you would by planning. 7-day mini-experiment. Pick 1 idea you have been thinking about. Create the smallest possible version of it. Something you can test in less than 7 days. Test it. Collect feedback. Do not try to make it perfect. Just make it real. Then decide what to do next based on what you learn. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode: you call it a prototype, but you still spend weeks making it perfect before you test it. Fix: use the 80-20 rule. Your prototype should be 20% of what the final version will be. If it takes more than 3 days to build, it is not a prototype. Tool 13. The data over drama. When something goes wrong, most people spiral. They think, this always happens to me. I am terrible at this. Nothing ever works out. I should just quit. That is drama. Drama feels true, but it is not useful. The data over drama tool forces you to look at facts instead of feelings. Here is when to use it. After a failure. After a rejection. After a mistake. After a setback. Anytime you are thinking about quitting. Example. You applied for 10 jobs. You got rejected from all of them. You think, I am unemployable. No one wants me. I will never find a job. I should just give up. Here is the data. You applied for 10 jobs. That is a small sample size. The average person applies for 50 to 100 jobs before getting hired. You have 40 to 90 more applications to go before you hit the average. You are not failing. You are just early in the process. The drama says quit. The data says keep going. 7-day mini experiment. The next time something goes wrong, write down the story you are telling yourself. Then write down the facts. Just the facts. No interpretation. Compare them. Is the story helping you or hurting you? If it is hurting you, replace it with the facts. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode, you look at the data, but you still feel the drama, so you act on the drama. Fix, feelings lag behind facts. You can know the truth and still feel bad. That is normal. Let the feeling exist, but act on the data, not the feeling. Tool 14. The feedback loop. Most people do not track their progress. They work hard, but they do not know if they are getting better. They do not know what is working and what is not. They just keep doing the same thing and hope for different results. The feedback loop fixes this. You pick one metric. You track it. You adjust based on what you see. Here is when to use it. When you are trying to improve at something. When you are testing a new habit. When you are working toward a goal. When you feel stuck or plateaued. Example. You want to get better at public speaking. You think, I will just do it more, and eventually I will improve. That is not a feedback loop. You have no idea what to improve. You are just hoping. Here is the feedback loop. After every talk, write down 3 things. One thing that went well. One thing that did not go well. One thing you will change next time. Do this every time. After 10 talks, look at your notes. You will see patterns. You will know exactly what to work on. 7-day mini experiment. Pick one thing you are trying to improve. Pick one metric to track. Track it every day for 7 days. At the end of the week, look at the data. Did you improve? If yes, keep going. If no, change one thing and test again. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode. You track too many metrics and get overwhelmed. Fix, track one metric. Just one. If you want to track more, wait until you have 30 days of data on the first metric. The 7-day rewire plan. You have the framework. You have the tools. Now you need a plan. This is a 7-day plan. Each day takes less than 10 minutes. By the end of 7 days, you will have practiced every tool. You will have data. You will know what works for you. This is exactly what the toolkit is for. So keep listening now, then use the checklist later when you are at your desk. Day 1. The control filter. Time, 5 minutes. Action, write down 3 things you worried about today. For each one, ask, can I control this? If no, cross it out. If yes, write down one action you can take. Day 2. The purpose filter. Time, 5 minutes. Action, set a timer for 3 random times today. When the timer goes off, write down what you are thinking. Ask, does this thought have a purpose? Write yes or no. At the end of the day, count how many were useful. Day 3. The truth filter. Time, 10 minutes. Action, pick one decision you have been avoiding. Write down every reason you are avoiding it. Circle the assumptions. Underline the facts. Pick one assumption and test it today. Day 4. The action filter. Time, 5 minutes. Action, write down one action you will take tomorrow. Not a goal. An action. Something you can complete in less than 30 minutes. Do it tomorrow. Check it off. Day 5. The time budget. Time, 10 minutes. Action, Write down every major thing you want to focus on right now. Estimate how many hours per week each one takes. Add them up. Compare that number to the hours you actually have. Cut one thing. Day 6, the prototype test. Time, 10 minutes. Action, pick one idea you have been thinking about. Create the smallest version you can test today. It does not have to be perfect. It just has to be real. Test it. Write down what you learn. Day 7, the feedback loop. Time, 5 minutes. Action, look back at the last 6 days. What worked? What did not work? What will you keep doing? Write down your answers. This is your data. The 2-minute version. You are busy. You do not have time for a 7-day plan. You need something right now. Here is the 2-minute version. Step 1. Catch the thought. When a thought shows up, notice it. Do not judge it. Just notice it. Step 2. Ask, can I control this? If no, let it go. If yes, move to step 3. Step 3. Ask, does this thought have a purpose? If no, let it go. If yes, move to step 4. Step 4. Ask, what is one action I can take right now? Write it down. Do it. Step 5. Stop thinking. Start doing. That is it. 2 minutes. 4 questions. 1 action. Use this anytime you feel stuck, overwhelmed, or caught in a thought loop. Closing summary. Here is what you learned. Your thoughts are not helping you. Most of them are useless. You need a system to filter them. The filter system has 4 filters. Control. Purpose. Truth. Action. If a thought does not pass all 4, let it go. You learned 14 tools. Use the ones that fit your life. Ignore the ones that do not. Here is your next step. Do not try to use all the tools at once. Pick one. Use it today. Test it for 7 days. Then add another. Start with the control filter. It is the simplest and the most powerful. Every time you catch yourself worrying, ask, can I control this? If no, let it go. If yes, decide what to do next. That one question will change your life. Thank you for listening. Subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell. And check out the free toolkit in the description so it's easy to recall and start taking action. And share this with one friend who is stuck in their head and cannot stop overthinking. Once they learn to filter their thoughts, they will get their energy back and finally take action on the things that matter.